So this is just where we're at right now, that half the class is missing. And today, anyway, I didn't Zoom. We'll Zoom next time, but even then, maybe we'll do this. So what this is like last time, maybe a little bit more guide mainly of the notes. It's not the whole lesson all over again. It's not an 80-minute video. So I'll give you highlights, but I hope that this will, in conjunction with the homework questions and the notes, give you everything that you need for the two things that we did today. So the first one was this, the stating of the in-order, post-order, and pre-order tree traversals. And I just fixed up this web page a little bit. I don't know if the latest version will be here or not. It's not. That's okay. So the idea is that traversing through an array is easy. You start at one end and you work your way to the other. Traversing through lists is easy because you just follow the pointers to the next link, to the next link, to the next link, to the next link. But what about a tree? What if you want to do something with every member of the tree? Do you go this way and then that way, or do you go this way, this way? What do you do? How do you do it? And recursion comes to the rescue. There are 3 approaches, and they each basically say at each node, you got to do 3 things basically. You got to work with that node, but you've also got to work with the stuff to the left, and you've got to work with the stuff to the right. You've got to do that with every node. So that's where it's a very recursive sounding thing, that what we do with the M, we've also got to do with the B. What are we doing? We're working with it, but we're also working with its subtree to the left, and we're also working with its subtree to the right. And the same thing with all the nodes. They all basically could have left and right children, which also have to be worked with, and those children could have children which have to be worked with, and so on and so on and so on, hence recursion. So pre, post, and in order refer to the orders in which we deal with the root or the node itself and the left and the right. Pre-order, you look after the node itself first, do whatever needs to be done, like printing it out, and then you do the left node, which is basically a subtree ultimately, and the right node in that order. Pre-order, the node itself, left, right. In order, which is going to give you alphabetical or numeric order, or order however you're comparing, goes left first, so you deal with the left side first, then you deal with the node itself, then you deal with the right. And post order, which will not give you reverse alphabetical, by the way, but it does, like all 3 of these, go through and visit each one of the nodes. And we do this with the node itself being looked at post. So left, right, think of the way that you march, left, right, start with left, left, right, and then node. And what I've done with the nodes is I've added from, it was at D.4.2, I've added the traversal code here. Let me just load one more time. It's still not there, so we'll do it through Dreamweaver. And by the time you look at it, it'll be there. Put this in the right place. No, that's the D one. We want to look at this. Right. So right, before the 3 videos, now, and when you look at it, you hopefully refresh your page if you need to, we'll have this. There was one, if anybody from who was in the class is looking at this, the one little issue I've fixed up. Basically, we just had a student note without a name, and then the name of the string was 2, so it was obviously some sort of a typo. But anyway, this is fine now. This is the way that it's going to work. Somewhere in your main or whatever, you're going to call traverse in order. In this case, we just print it out because it's returning a string. And you send a certain tree, and you send, the way we're doing it here, just this empty string, which is going to end up being all of the letters of the tree. And so there it is. Traverse in order takes in a student node, P, And when we send, I didn't talk about this, I don't need to get into it now, but when you're sending the tree, you're basically sending the node, so that it works. And then the string in order, string which will be just nothing to begin with. And as long as, for each instance that this is used, as long as the pointer is not null, because leaves will all have null, right? They'll have a left null and a right null. And when we get to null, then we just return. But if not null, it means that there's a left and a right child. And so what we need to do is the same thing left and the same thing right. So we send the left node, and however, the in order string is at this point, if it's got none, or if it's got one, or if it's got 15 letters or whatever. And then we're going to do something with the in order string. In this case, all we're doing is we're getting the value of the node and we're adding it to the string. So we just are adding, but you might be doing something else. You might be visiting all of the nodes of the tree to do something with them, to update their email of the student, or to combine their first name and their last name. I don't know, but you're doing something. In this case, when you're just testing it, you print out the value. So basically this in order string just keeps on getting the value of the letter where we're added to this string. And then you do traversing to the right. And this is hard to do with a video, just standing in front of my monitor here. A little bit easier in class, but this is where you have this stacking, right? This particular traverse in order, starting at the root, basically, is going to be put on the stack because it's not finished, because it gets interrupted. It gets interrupted here, and also gets interrupted here. So the way that this ends up looking is as the videos do it. And I'm not going to play the videos for you inside this video, but we'll do the pre-order. It's too bad I couldn't get rid of that, but we can assume this is this A, B, C, D. This is a D right here, right? So pre-order does the root, what I'm calling in the videos root, or what did I call in, I don't know what I call, but what did I call it over here? I just called it the P, the pointer, the node P. But anyway, same thing, root, left, right. So since we're doing the pre-order, again, this is hard to do in a video, but pre goes root, left, right. So we're going to deal with the F first, root first. So F gets printed out. Then we deal with the left. So we go down to B. But B is, it's the whole method again, and it starts with the root. So B gets printed. Oh, this is pre-order. We don't want that. That's harder to follow. Anyway, that was correct, but the in order is the easier one to understand. So see how this is slightly different. It makes sense kind of to have started that, and then we jump over this and see how it's slightly different. So the in order starts with left. So we don't print out F yet. We go left. Then when we're doing the instance for B, we don't print it out yet. We do left, because left is the first thing. We do left, okay, which is this one. And we don't print it out, we do left. But there is no left, so we come back and do the root. So A is going to get printed, if you watch the video. And then we do for A, having done its left, which was null, done the root, we printed out A, we do the right, which is null, which means we're done. We're done A's out of memory, it's not on the stack anymore, and we go back to B. B was interrupted when we went left to A. So the first line is done, we do the root. Root is printing out the B, so B gets printed out, A and then B. And then this is where it's kind of funny with this in the middle, but anyway, we go right. So right from B is D. So with D, we do left, which is C. With C, we start with left, which is null. Come back to the root, print C. Go to the right, which is null. Come back, we've done C. So now D is done its left. We do the root, which is D. So D gets printed. So now we have A, B, C, D. And then having done the root, we do the right, and the right is E, etc. As you can see by watching on YouTube the video. So, yeah, those are three classic questions. I would say at least half of the IB exams have a question just like this one. that says, you know, whatever it says, state the order in which data will be listed, and then other questions as well that you should be able to answer. Yeah, so that's that one. And I think I'll do a separate video for the other thing that we did today.